Every year, more than 350 billion pounds of edible food is available for human consumption in the United States. Of that total, nearly 100 billion pounds, including fruits, vegetables, milk, and grain products, are lost to waste by retailers, restaurants, and consumers. Food waste. We are all guilty of it. Most of the time, we find it relatively harmless as we throw away the last of our sandwich or a bruised apple from lunch. However, food waste has significant environmental, economic, and social consequences and adds up to be a serious problem. Overall, Americans toss out as much as 40% of their food every day. With restaurants serving massive portions to fill their plates, many people are not able to finish these large portions. Restaurants end up throwing away more than 6,000 tons of food per day. When wasted food is thrown away and broken down in a landfill, excess amounts of greenhouse gases are produced in the atmosphere and contribute to global warming and climate change. In a world of 7 billion people, set to grow to 9 billion by 2050, wasting food makes no sense, economically, environmentally, and ethically, said UN Undersecretary General and UNEP Executive Director Achim Steiner. According to researchers at the National Institute of Diabetes, Digestive and Kidney Diseases, a study concluded that each year a quarter of the U.S. water consumption and more than 300 million barrels of oil go into producing and distributing food that ultimately ends up in landfills. This is not only hurting our environment by generating harmful greenhouse gases, but it also is hurting our economy. A report released January 2013 found that U.S. food waste is equivalent to $197.7 million. In addition, the cost of disposing food waste in landfills and incinerators is impacting companies' bottom lines. People do not think twice about throwing away their food, but it is the equivalence of throwing away their money and the money they use to produce and distribute the food. While we are throwing out food that we merely don't enjoy or that we took too much of, some people get as much as a stale piece of bread and a cup of water once a day. There are nearly 1 billion malnourished people in the world. All of the world's nearly 1 billion hungry people could be lifted out of malnourishment on less than a quarter of the food that is wasted in the U.S., the United Kingdom, and Europe.
Hello, my name is Carly Yancity. I'm the Culinary Services Sustainability Officer for MSU. The Clean Plates at State program is a post-consumer waste audit. That way we can see kind of what the customer is taking and not eating. It helps us with menu development, it helps with portion sizes, it helps with peer education. We're just trying to get a grasp on some of our food waste. Food waste in the world is a serious problem. Here at MSU, I think we have room for improvement, but I don't see it as a huge issue. I mean, there are things that we need to learn, a lot of behavior change. Different halls have different measures and different designs, different plates. Everything constitute as to what the difference between food waste is. There are many ways that we can use food waste, but the biggest controlling effort would be students. Are you taking too much? Are your eyes bigger than your stomach? I mean, there's variables like we're serving too much sometimes. I mean, there's a lot of factors.
So, Zach, why aren't you going to finish this sandwich here?
Because it's pretty old and gross, and it's the last one, and I don't want it anymore.
I got you.
I don't know, the cost.
It'll save on labor,
yeah.
It'll save on the production of it, it'll save on the storage of it, and it'll save on getting the food here to begin with.
Yeah.
Those are things that we need to look at, that if I'm not making as much, well then I'm not producing as much and I'm not throwing as much away. So the loop gets smaller and smaller. That would be perfect.
So why do you get so much food when you're at the calf?
Well, you figure you pay so much for the meal plan that I'm going to get my money's worth, so I get a lot of food.
I got you.
Isn't that the wrong way to think of those things? Because if you look at it, we have to buy the food as well. And for us to keep our but our housing and room rates affordable, we'd like to not have to cook so much food with a percentage of knowing that it's going to waste. If we could be very productive with our food, we know that you're going to consume this much amount, then that's food that we don't have to buy and have to make.
Yeah. So why do you get so much food at the calf?
I like to get a little bit of everything.
I go up to all the different places to try all the different foods, but then I end up getting a full meal at each one.
Oh, try to not let your eyes get bigger than your stomach. You know, sample everything. Tell the server. I know sometimes they give you too much. I mean, that's a training thing that we're working on for us, is try not to give you so much.
Yeah.
But say something to them that, you don't have to have that much. You can always come up for more.
Yeah.
We cook to order, to flow anyways. We have a lot of different things. Just sample things unless you're sure.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing right there, is just try not to take too much. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't take it because you can and waste it. That
Yeah.
doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
The best way you can help reduce food waste is to start with yourself. Here are a few tips to help you reduce your own personal food waste. Check the menu on the Eat at State webpage before you go to the cafeteria to make sure you don't walk in and grab the first thing that looks good before realizing that there's something you want more. Ask your server for a small sample of foods that you might be unfamiliar with, so if you don't like them, you're not going to waste an entire meal. Try dining without a tray. If you want more food, you can always go up for seconds. Getting too much food because you're trying to get your money's worth only causes the price of the dining plans to increase. Thanks for watching and doing your part to help reduce food waste.